increase. Last week, the Observer headline, modest water rate increase proposed in Westland. This article is terribly written. Any paper that starts off with the word modest and tells its readers what to think is kind of scary. The article failed to mention that we just had a 6.7 water increase last July. Now the city wants to raise it 2.35 for this July. The article further states the city anticipates a 5% increase by using a 5-year rate study. How can we have another 5% rate increase when we just had a whopper 6 months ago? Detroit has not released any building rates to any communities. Our water bills are higher than Livonia and the surrounding communities. Further, the Plant Moran report on page 32 states compensated absences, vacations, sick leave are used from the general fund and the water sewer fund to liquidate these obligations. Before you raise our water rates, please stop this practice. Let's not forget, less than a month ago after the election.
Seeing I have Mike Schwartz from Plant Moran right here, and I have Steve Smith, our finance director. The water department is run like its own enterprise. It's even called an enterprise fund. Those funds are segregated. We do not, to my knowledge, and I have our auditor here and I have our finance director here, we do not, to my knowledge, nor is it allowable for us to charge you higher water rates just so we can use that money to pay off other debts or pensions or whatever the accusations are up here sometimes when we're raising water rates. The money we charge you for your water service stays in the water department. We simply don't do that, and if we do, it got past me, and I've never seen it on an auditor's report. So I just wanted to make that clear. We do get an estimate ahead of time, and we do plan for that estimate. And the city, even though there looks like we're proposing an increase, will have the exact amount before we actually pass that increase. If it does come through at 4 or 5%, at 5% as we're projecting, the proposed raise was 2.35%, which means we are absorbing part of that raise into the water fund balance. So just a few facts. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, I'm done. Smith, for all the work he did the last couple of weeks to clear up a few things. One was the report that was in the Detroit News by the Food and Water Watch Company, and they did this big article in the Free Press about water. Wasn't supposed to be about water rates initially. It was supposed to be about service to the 500 largest communities. Westland was mentioned in there. They had our rates quite high. We had a lot of people upset about that. As we mentioned when it was brought to our attention at the podium by some citizens, we believe their calculations were incorrect. Well, we have an update on that. They did use the wrong calculations when they put our water rates on their chart, and they are correcting it now. They are going to correct it on their website. And they originally had Westland, I don't know, 23rd out of 500 or something like that, even though this was a usage study, it wasn't a rate study. It's going to drop us down to number 252 below average of the 500 largest communities that they were in their survey. So we went from the high end down to below average of the 500 communities. They, in essence, had to cut our rates almost in half because they were double charging us. The fee that they had in there was almost double what it was supposed to be. So now that it's been reduced, we're right in the ballpark, and we do not have the highest rates in the city, country, or state. Well, maybe the city, but not the country or state. Not even the highest in Wayne County. And the other thing that was cleared up that I would like to thank Steve was there's been some talk, and I know some of the websites actually have me speaking over and over. Can you imagine that? I can't imagine that. I don't know why they would leave it there for so long. Even I can't stand listening to me that much over and over again. But they have me on there saying that we don't use water rate, I know, we don't use water rates or water money to pay for salaries and pensions. I never said that. They had me on this website saying that in answer to a question. Someone came to the podium and said, we were using water money to pay for police pensions, or that we were using water money to pay for this new city hall. That was the accusation at the podium that I was answering when you see my quote on their website. What I told them was, we don't do that, which is true. But I've said time and time again that the water department is like its own little company, its own little city, if you will. The water department is an enterprise fund. That means it runs independently. Yes, we pay for people's salaries and pensions out of your water rate money, but that's only if they work for the water department. We don't use it outside water department employees. That has been verified. The statements that people have made at the podium and on the various websites about they found an auditor's note 1 of the June 30th, 2015 audit report, compensated absences, bottom of page 32 of the auditor's report. This has all been verified that those are water expenses and water employees. As I've always said, they were not other employees, which is what I was trying to say that day when they put the quote on there. So thank you, Steve, for clearing that up, that the water fund is not being abused, it's only being used for water expenses.